Appreciate you all being here. I want to start by saying that the Charlotte football and the 49er family are saddened by the passing of American Conference Assistant Commissioner for Communications, Chuck Sullivan, this past week. Our hearts are with Chuck's friends and family and American Conference and his colleagues across the country. I'm not sure if you guys saw our commissioner's social media post, and tough deal. So we are certainly, our prayers are with Chuck's family. Just to kind of recap the game, and nothing's really, I said what I said in post game is pretty much it. Probably the most disappointing offense that we've had all year. I don't want to take anything away from our opponent, but just our inability to finish a drive. I think one or two, three and outs, and and so we got some first downs and crossed midfield and could not finish. And it was not one thing. It was, I talked about our inability to consistently run the ball, but we get down there and have a protection breakdown. And it wasn't one guy had three. It was kind of a by committee, but just from an offensive standpoint, no rhythm. Made a change with Grayson and Zach and try to give us a little spark back there, and move around, extend plays with eyes downfield. And that was kind of the reason for that. But I thought, again, defensively, as I said, kept us in the ball game, one score game at halftime, and again we bent and finally broke on the tush push, wrinkle that they had in the game. So again, we're disappointed with the outcome, and it falls on my shoulders, and you have to correct the mistakes and come to work. That's what we're doing. So huge challenge this week at Georgia. We all know the caliber of team they are, a playoff contender at this time, and what I want to say is, hey, we respect all opponents and fear none. We're going to go in there and play for 4 quarters. We have 26 seniors in this football team. They're laying the foundation for the future of this program, and so we're going to go in there and compete. So with that, I'll open up for questions.
So, Coach, talking about this game ahead, you're playing a lot of young players who have injuries and stuff. Experience like this, playing a top team in the nation, what can that do building the foundation moving forward?
I think it's a great opportunity on a big stage against, again, one of the best teams in America, and it's something that they're going to remember forever. Me as a coach, I've been in these games before, never had a chance to play at Georgia. We played in some big arenas, and our guys will respond. I think it's something that they're going to be excited about. I don't know what we have athletes on the roster from Georgia, and I know our fan base is excited, so that's where it's at.
Coach, you mentioned they're still obviously in playoff contention. They're number 5, number 4 in the country. What do you look to learn from your team, and what do you want to learn about them as players and just their resolve going up against an opponent like this, knowing they're 1-9, no hope for a bowl, that kind of thing? But how do you hope they still compete in this game?
Yeah, competition. We're laying the foundation. Be the rock. The foundation for the future. We're going to battle for every inch. We're going to come off the football and trust our technique, trust our training, and see where that gets us. But I want to embrace it, and we're going to coach these guys like we've been doing every week. And I want this to be a positive experience for the 26 seniors, and I want those guys to keep fighting, because I think the school board has not dictated their effort, and they've shown tremendous character in what they're going through. So that's going to be our intent.
Coach, talking about those 26 seniors, 2 games left for them. What do you hope to see from them in a leadership role moving forward and propelling this program?
I think the big thing is you got to control the controllables and come from a positive standpoint, you know, and that's where it's tough. Again, the school board and the school board as far as wins and losses, it's tough. It's easy just to yell and scream and bad body language. If you were at our practices today, you wouldn't have guessed that we were where we are. So I'm very proud of them. Our coaches have tremendous energy. Players respond to that. They are resilient, as I've said, and that's going to be the expectation.
Coach, obviously you're coaching a game, but in a way, looking towards the future, I mean, you're going to Georgia. They've obviously got a lot of high-profile players. How much of an opportunity is this to maybe look at some of their players that aren't playing as much, maybe warm-ups and stuff, to maybe try to get some of their players to come to Charlotte?
Right. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but that's an interesting question, Cam. But that's probably out of my wheelhouse to comment on. But we all know that in this day and age in college football, I mean, everybody's looking to make moves, and so. But I'll have probably other things on my mind pregame.
Coach, I know Reggie always likes to bring this up, but we're one of 11 programs in the nation that rank in the top half in kick return defense, punt return defense. One, how does that set up the team? You're up there with the likes of BYU, Ohio State, Vanderbilt, all these high-profile teams. We're the only non-P4 program in the top half in all 4 of those. And then 2, how can that create a spark in a game like this where you look at all what the pundits say we're not favored in, but a third phase of the game can certainly create a spark to maybe juice something up for the team.
Yeah, again, I appreciate the question there, Joe. Actually, you tip your hat to Coach Haynes and Coach Olrock. They run the special teams. They work hard. They bring energy every day, And what I'm most proud about is really again, musical chairs that we've gone through with injuries and the different faces that are on those units. He's plugged the right guys in and has motivated them, and back on the spark piece of that, you saw our sideline when Derek, broke through, and it was, fourth quarter, almost impossible to get back. I think it made it 21-7, and we couldn't get a stop. But back to the spark. I mean, our guys were into it. I'm happy for Derek. He wasn't the starter until week 2 or 3, I think. Maybe week 4. As far as putting him back there, he was the backup. And he had some injuries, and he got his opportunity and he's made the most of it. And it's not just him making everybody miss. It's that kickoff return unit, that made the blocks in that game. But again, all 4 units, we can build off that. There are 3 units in a team: offense, defense, special teams, and we're in a good spot to build it going in these last 2 ball games. Hopefully, we can get some things done on offense and defensive units to have some confidence going in the offseason.
And then with this game on SEC Network, this is going to be our 6th game on linear television. So at least half of the games you can get on your cable box, not stream only. What does that do for the exposure of this program and the conference getting all those spots?
Excellent question, Joe. Here's my thoughts on it. We play in the best group of 6 league, period. And we got 4 teams trying to get in the playoff. And if it wasn't for a couple of upsets, we'd probably have 6. And you look at our bowl record last year. It's just one more thing why you want to choose to come to Charlotte University. The education, R1 institution, Queen City, all the things in the surrounding areas, hunting and fishing and snow skiing, and you get to the ocean. There's so many things you can talk about here, and then oh yeah, you're playing in the best group of 6 league, period. And so I think it's and you got the TV exposure that you just brought up. And so there's a lot of things happening here. But we got some good momentum here. Just as a football program, we got to do our part and win some games. And so we're laying the foundation here from the inside out, and I'm excited about the future.
Coach, looking through your first year so far here at Charlotte, what have you learned about yourself as a coach trying to establish this program?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I want to, thank my wife. That's for sure. 'Cause there's, it's not easy, but as I've said before, my mom used to say, tough times don't last. Tough people do. And it's been tough. And I've been through this before. I have. Not as the head coach, but with one win. But I've certainly been had one victory before, not in my career. So it's to me, it's focus on what we could control, and I appreciate the support system I have around me. Again, my wife, and I'm a man of faith. I don't sound like it sometimes on game day, but that's why you got a strong staff, and you trust the process, and one day at a time.
Gavin, last week the defense really stood strong early on in red zone. First 3 trips in the red zone, you guys were able to stop them. You guys obviously had the pick in there, but what went into that strong standing up in the red zone defense?
It's just our mentality. Whenever we get put in those situations, it's an opportunity. That's how we look at it every time we're in the red zone to get a stop, and that's the way I feel like we played all against UTSA.
For both players, this week is obviously a different kind of challenge. Going to Athens to play Georgia, top 4 team in the country. Just kind of, what's been the mentality the coaches have been trying to drive home to you guys about this matchup and just going out there and competing?
I mean, it's the same mindset. I feel like we go and attack the same every game, depending who we play. If it's Georgia or whoever it is, it's the same mindset and the same standard.
I also want to add, we've been honing in on the details a lot this week. That's going to be a major focal point for our whole entire team going into this week against Georgia.
For both of you playing Georgia, know it's the enemy, but as a college football fan, that's one of those stadiums. It's on everyone's bucket list to just see a game at. You guys are getting to play between the hedges. What is that going to be like for you two?
It's a blessing. You dream to play at Georgia. It's a big stadium. Just go out there and make plays. It's a blessing to go out there and play. So
definitely looking forward to the great environment that we know they're going to offer.
Derek, you've been excellent on kick returns. Obviously, you got the touchdown last week, but what's gone into that? Coach talked about you weren't even the starter that early in the season, but you've worked into that role, and what's gone into that role?
Just like offensive role, or just kick return. I feel like I just got into the role, kick return, just during the off season, I guess, working catching punts, catching kick returns. So he just put me back there and believed in me. So.
Last week, what was it like getting to break off for that massive touchdown?
It was a blessing. Honestly, I plotted on it like at the hotel. I was like, I'm gonna get one, and I'm mad I didn't get a picture with the guys after I said I'm gonna get a picture with the whole guys, but I just blanked out. I didn't get to get the picture with the guys, but it was a blessing to go out there and get that touchdown.
Talked to Sean Brown last week. Talked about your development, and Pavin Four is another walk-on wide receiver. He loves seeing that. There's been a lot of walk-ons at the school that have really stood out. What does that mean to you getting to work through being a walk-on and getting your opportunity now?
It was a blessing. It's a blessing. They don't make you feel like you're a walk-on. You're just a regular player here. Your opportunity come. I feel like you just got to make the most of it, and they let me make the most of my opportunities. And then for myself, that's my goal, is to make the most of my opportunities. So.
Gavin, you transferred here, grad year from Harvard. Braden Mullen also coming from the Ivy League. First off, did you guys know each other, like from playing against each other up there, and kind of make a joint decision to come here? Or just kind of talk about, that experience, since you don't get grad years at the Ivy League, and you see in all sports, great players spending their 4 years, getting a great degree, and then taking that extra year somewhere else.
I've definitely seen it as a blessing, going to Harvard first and then being able to play at the FBS level for my last year. I didn't personally know Braden before I got here, but I did see that he committed before I did, so that was kind of something that I looked at like it's a pretty good spot to be at. But I've honestly enjoyed it. The transition from Harvard football to Charlotte football has been amazing. They're very welcoming here, and I really enjoyed my time here.
Derek, you had great returns all year, and it seemed like each, the last 3 weeks, you were, one step away from breaking one off, and you finally did it this past weekend. At what point in your head while you're running that back did you think, I've got it? There's nobody else in front of me. This is going to be 6.
I don't know. I wasn't thinking. I just know right before we was going out there, everybody was like, it was just a different energy about it. Cause the one ECU, I feel like I should have broke, but this one it was the same one. They got a penalty, so we got extra yards. So I knew they had to kick it to me. So everybody who had that energy that I was gonna score, so it just happened.
For that, Gavin, just the nature of the game, kick returns usually happen after the defense has given up points. What does that do for a defense, though, when you see your return group, Ely, Javen on the punt team? Obviously you got to stop there, but being able to make up some of that field and put the offense in a great position to go back and get those points back.
I think it's amazing. I spent some time on kickoff return blocking for Ely earlier in the year, and so I always love being out there trying to set up a block for him to get a big return. And I think it definitely is a big spark for the team. And so I'm really proud of those guys.
Gavin, as a veteran on this team, with 2 games left, what's your message to the younger guys to help establish the foundation moving forward?
Going forward, I'm telling all the young guys that it's another opportunity. Every time you get on the field, it's an opportunity. It's a blessing to play the sport. It's a blessing to play at this level. It's a blessing to go out to Georgia, like you said earlier, in that environment. Like, not many people get to do that. So I'm telling them that to cherish these moments because they definitely do go by fast. Like, feels like I was just in high school playing, and now I'm got my last 2 games coming up. So I'm definitely telling the young guys to enjoy every second of it.
And then for both of you, this is a question I ask everybody, but what does it mean to you to be a Charlotte 49er?
It's a lot. From being from Charlotte, I grew up watching Charlotte football. Just being able to walk on here, I actually had an opportunity, but I wanted to walk on to Charlotte because I just love the college and the environment of the fans. So it's a blessing to play here.
It's a privilege and an honor to be a part of the Charlotte football team. I'm really excited for what Tim Albin and the rest of the staff are going to do in the future.